Hello and welcome to third episode of Disha. Disha is designing innovative solutions for holistic access to justice. This is a scheme which is initiated by the Department of Justice, Ministry of Law and Justice, Government of India. And today we are discussing outraging modesty of women. Women are everywhere. They are leading in every sector. You name the sector and they are there. And this is a crucial issue which needs an in-depth discussion. And for that, I have in studio with me Mr. Jasbir Singh Bajaj. He is a retired IAS officer and retired from Additional Chief Secretary, Apex Scale. Also, I have Ms. Sumita Suman. She's a legal expert, sexual harassment of women at workplace and atrocities against women. A very warm welcome to both of you in today's broadcast. Now, I would like to begin with you, Mr. Jasbir. How do you define modesty and then outraging modesty?
The word modesty has not been defined in the law books, but through various judgments pronounced by the Supreme Apex Court, Supreme Court of India, the first being the State of Punjab versus Major Singh in 1966 and later on Rupandev Bajaj versus KPS Gill in 1995. These two judgments, the word modesty has been given a definition. Basically, it is related to the sexual orientation of the woman, and it is more focused on the chastity and the because of being a woman, they have a special place as far as the human existence is concerned. They are we cannot treat them as a weaker section, as as people try to make out. They are not at all a weaker section, but they have a special, because of their bodily features, biological features, and their status, irrespective of their age, and even a newly born child and even 100-year-old woman have the modesty. That is the chastity that is very special to the women. And that is why, so if there is any attack on that chastity, if there is any attack on their modesty, in any form, it can be physical form, it can be a threat of use of criminal force, or even verbal also, by gestures, by words, it is actually outraging the modesty as far as section 354 is concerned. But there's another section 509 which deals with the respect to the modesty. So if there is any disrespect to the modesty, that also is an offense under the law. So, and in the new laws, yes, we have the corresponding sections. For 354, we have the section 74 of Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, BNS, and for 509, we have section 79. So, both the aspects have been covered even in the new laws, and with much more penalty, with much more severe action if such a unfortunate thing happens.
Okay, I'll come to the newly incorporated criminal laws. But now I would like to ask you that you've just mentioned there are various forms. Digital form could be one of them, because the technology is thriving, and there are misuses also of this technology. So is it also included in the provision?
Yes, it is very much included in the provision. Digitalization has been given a very special focus while framing the new laws, because now with the change of time, the technology also develops. The old act was as old as enacted in 1860, though it has undergone many changes through various amendments. But there was a need for a new law where all these new technological features have to be incorporated. So that is why we find that even the digital evidence is like emails, the WhatsApp messages, and many other forms of digital communication are admissible evidence now. So that carries a lot of weight in getting the justice for the woman.
Okay,
incest.
Miss Sumita, how do you react to it?
About what sir said.
Yes.
Yeah, of course, because outraging the modesty of a woman, because it has not been defined, but with various case laws, the judiciary has taken this responsibility of defining this word. So decency of being a woman, if she is an infant, even she is not having the sense that her modesty is outraged, even she is being protected under this law. And of course, modesty is something that can be outraged, verbally, non-verbally, with your gestures, when you are just whistling, when women is going and you're just whistling. So that is also outraging the modesty of women. Of course,
Okay.
it's very sensitive.
I understand. Mr. Jasbir, would you like to highlight the punishment prescribed?
Yes, under the new provisions, the punishment is now more severe. In some offences, it is minimum is 1 year and can go up to 5 years in case of outraging the modesty or showing disrespect to the modesty. And so provision of a minimum punishment makes it more tough. It's not very easy for the offender to get away with a lesser punishment or with a very meager punishment. So the judge will have to record the reasons, specific reasons, if he has to award a lesser punishment than prescribed under the law.
Okay. Is there any provision or special provision in cases wherein an offender is a close relative of a woman?
Yes, there is provision, and in that case, the minimum punishment has been prescribed at a higher level. It is 3 years and can go up to 7 years.
7 years,
Yeah.
indeed. Okay, now, Ms. Sunita, I would like to talk about the 3 new laws, criminal laws that have been incorporated. These are Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, BNS as we know it, Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita, and Bharatiya Sakshya Adhiniyam. Now, when it comes to BNS, it introduces a handful of notable crimes. Most notable amongst it is Clause 69, which penalizes sexual intercourse through employment of deceitful means. How do you react to it? How do you see this, and what else is there for women in the 3 newly introduced criminal laws that have replaced the colonial era laws?
Yeah, thank you. This section 69 of Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, that is a much awaited, the much awaited law that we have been waiting to see in this new laws. So in IPC of 1860, the provisions were also there. And such cases were being tried by a joint reading of section 375 and section 90, but there was no section that was clearly dealing with this kind of offences. So this section 69 that reads that whoever with deceitful means or with a false promise to marry a woman has intercourse with that woman without intention of marrying her, so he can be tried under this law and he is offender in this law. And the term is imprisonment term that is being defined in this law is up to 10 years. So it's a very severe kind of punishment that is being described in this. And of course, it is very different from rape, because previously it has been tried as a rape, but because in this the consensual sexual intercourse is there, so there was no such offense was being made. So I'm really happy, and we really welcome this new law. And yeah, of course, it's a much needed law.
Okay, Ms. Sunita, now despite violence against them, women do not report the incidents to police station. What do you think is the reason behind?
To understand,
and that's especially in rural areas.
Yes. We have to understand the structure of our society. As you all know that we live in a patriarchal kind of society, so where men, they enjoy the dominance, the power and the control. So in spite of having our financial finance minister as a woman, we women, we hardly have any financial freedom. We don't enjoy that. So the root is lying there in our patriarchal society, where the women are seen as inferior or a weaker section, as sir has very rightly said. So this is the root cause, and because the social stigma is also, like, attached to such kind of incidents. So sometimes the victims, they blame themselves and they don't want to, like, disclose it to even their parents or maybe to their family. They don't have that kind of strength and that kind of, like, courage. So this is the thing. And another cause, like, for this, for not going to the police or not going to any NGO for any help, is that police system is really very complicated. They even don't know what wrong is happening to them. So unless and until you know something wrong is happening to you, how you can, like, just go and seek help from the others. So, like, self-respect, self-confidence is a much needed thing that every woman should be aware of.
Correct.
And, like, then we can like, change this kind of non-disclosure of these kind of incidents in the society.
Definitely. We'll resume this conversation, but right now we are heading for a short break.
देश भर के 300 से भी अधिक संविधान सभा के सदस्यों की अथक परिश्रम और जोरदार मंथन के बाद भारत के लोगों ने स्वयं को अमृत कलश के रूप में दिया एक नायाब उपहार, संविधान। इसी जीवंत और पवित्र मार्गदर्शिका के बल पर हमें दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा और महान लोकतंत्र होने का गौरव प्राप्त है। 28 राज्यों और 8 केंद्र शासित प्रदेशों सहित 140 करोड़ से भी ज्यादा लोगों के विविधता भरे इस देश को एक सूत्र में पिरोता है हमारा संविधान। संविधान है हमारे देश का महाप्राण, जो हर एक नागरिक को सामाजिक, आर्थिक, राजनैतिक न्याय के साथ साथ प्रतिष्ठा, गरिमा और अवसर की समानता भी प्रदान करता है। गर्व है हमें अपने संविधान पर, जो हमें प्रकाश और आगे बढ़ने की प्रेरणा प्रदान करता है। स्वतंत्रता की 75 साल की गौरवपूर्ण यात्रा हमने इसकी मदद से पूरी की। समय समय पर जरूरत के अनुसार इसे और बेहतर किया। वंचितों तक इसकी पहुंच को और आसान बनाने को प्रतिबद्ध हैं हम। इसलिए लोकतंत्र के 75वें वर्ष में पूरे वर्ष हम करेंगे संविधान समर्पित। सबको न्याय, हर घर न्याय, नव भारत, नव संकल्प, विधि जागृति जैसे विविध अभियानों का आयोजन संविधान में लिखी समानता, कर्तव्य और अधिकारों के आधार पर ही हम संकल्प से सिद्धि की मंजिल भी हासिल करेंगे। हमारा संविधान, हमारा सम्मान।
Welcome back after this short break. In the episode 3rd of Disha, we are discussing outraging modesty of women today, and I have with me Mr. Jaspreet Singh Bajaj. He is a retired IAS officer. He retired from Additional Chief Secretary, Apex Scale, and also we have Ms. Sunita Suman. She is legal expert, sexual harassment of women at workplace and atrocities against women. Thank you so much again. And now, Mr. Jasbir, what's your opinion on provisions like zero FIR and EFIR? These are the two new things that have come in. How they are helpful for women?
The concept of zero FIR was already there in the system, but it was not codified. It was not placed in any enacted laws. So people were not aware of their right to file an FIR, even if there is no jurisdiction of a particular police station. Second is e-filing, EFIR. EFIR is electronic FIR, that is, you can, sitting at your home or any place, from anywhere, you can lodge an FIR electronically by using the computers or any gadgets where, so there's
So
no,
do we have any application for the same, or you have to visit a particular portal and
a
then
portal,
register?
yes, a portal has to be visited, and there the format is given. You have to, it's a very simple format,
Okay.
where you can just fill up some basic details, and then the police officer will contact you immediately. So that's a very convenient way of filing a complaint, where the woman doesn't have to go to a police station or expose her to any kind of social stigma, or even face any kind of inconvenience. So sitting from anywhere, and they even they need not inform others whether they have lodged such a complaint or not. If such a complaint is lodged, the police will have to take immediate action because it is a cognizable offense, and they will have to take action immediately. So it's going to change the entire scenario, though the concept was already there, but it has not been codified and under 173 of the BNSS, which has replaced the old CRPC of 1973. Now this 173, section 173 is going to revolutionize the complaint lodging mechanism for women, and I think it's going to be a great boon for them.
Okay. Ms. Sunita, how do you react to zero FIR and EFIRs, the concept of the same?
I really appreciate this because EFIR and zero FIR. So if women, if something bad is happening to her and some crime, she is a victim of any crime, so she doesn't have that kind of courage to go to a police station and then lodge a FIR, because there would be a lot of police person and their family, she has to go with someone. Because police station is not considered as a place where you can go alone and you have a very welcoming kind of atmosphere there. So if we are having this zero FIR and EFIR, so without something is happened in any other place, not your home place or not in your area, some crime has happened with you, but you are sitting at your home in your comfort zone and you are having this access to lodging an FIR. So it's quite easy, and trust me, if you go to the Delhi police portal, if you are in Delhi or in any other state, so they have made a very smooth kind of system where you can lodge your own FIR. And the same thing is with EFIR, of course, because now the technology has our our life so much better, and we are enjoying the technology in many spheres. So for these kind of things, I think we should welcome it.
Okay, Ms. Sunita, do you agree to the fact that crime against women cannot be stopped until the mindsets of people are made to change?
Yes, I totally agree with this, because crime against women, as I previously said, and I believe in that, the root cause for this is in our patriarchal society, where we don't have the equality between men and women.
But do you agree that it is changing now with the modern world?
Yeah, of course it is changing, but still we have a long way to go, because the change cannot happen overnight. So everybody has to do his or her responsibility and his or her take in this journey, because we give sanskars to our children, so that way we have to make them realize that men and women, girls and boys, they are equal, and we should learn to respect the dignity of a woman.
Definitely.
Because she needs it, and because she had been suffering for hundreds of years, so she needs that kind of support that can be given. Of course the government is taking doing its part, and these new laws of course will help her to regain her dignity, and of course I believe that.
Sir, how do you react to this?
See, this is a kind of a cultural upbringing. How the upbringing of a child is done right from his childhood till he becomes an adult and becomes a part of the society. The respect for women has to be taught at home by the close parents and the people who are around the child. So that has to be inculcated in the child, how you have to, and it starts from home. First he has to give respect to his mother and to the women folk in his own family. Then only he will give due respect to others in the society. So definitely it has to be inculcated, it has to be taught by all of us. It's a duty cast upon us that we make our children aware of the dignity of the woman and give due respect to that.
Okay, how do you see, Mr. Jasbir, that a lot is being done by the government to empower women? Women's reservation bill is one of them. There are some other means, including launching various schemes for women. How do you see that?
See, the first, as you mentioned, reservation for women in legislature is a very bold and much awaited legislation, because for decades we have been talking about it, but it never happened. At least it has come now. Yes, it was there in the local bodies, but for parliament and state legislatures, it was not there. Now it is a law, and it will be implemented in due course when its implementation becomes operational, when the laws become operational. But it's definitely a very bold and a very forward looking, where the woman will have a say in the policy making, in the law making process, because legislature makes the law, and she will have a great say in that. Besides that, the present our government has been placing much focus on empowering the women and also uplifting their status in the society.
Correct.
There are many schemes which have been brought about, and like our women used to struggle a lot in the kitchen.
Yes.
Now that Ujjwala scheme has just made their life
providing
so
them
easy.
clean cooking fuel.
And
they got rid of that smoke
and the heat and everything was there. So
and it was, mind you, it was a root cause of many breathing illnesses as well.
Breathing illnesses and also many other ailments connected with that, lungs and their eyes getting affected. So all these, the focus is now more on women's empowerment, and all these schemes which have been brought about by the government are addressing these issues.
Correct, sir. And not just empowering them, but do you agree they are making them more fearless as well?
Yes, definitely fearlessness, because they were under, like a perpetual fear of the men folk and the strong people around them. Now, if we see, the women are almost now, I mean, the question of equality is now reality.
Yes.
We have women fighter pilots.
Yes.
And above all, we have women as president of our country.
Women Agniveers.
Agniveers. Yes, they are joining the armed forces.
And
Earlier they were only in police.
Three armed forces.
Yes. I have seen them working, my colleagues in the administrative service or police. I have seen them working, like they as good as, even better than us in many fields.
Definitely. Very quickly now, Ms. Sunita, could you throw some light on cyber stalking?
Yeah, stalking, was made a offense in IPC 1960, and it was a physical stalking. But because, as you mentioned, that technology is thriving in every sphere of life. So a much needed clause was introduced in there, and that was in IT Act of 2000, International Technology Act of 2000, where in section 67 cyber stalking was mentioned. So cyber stalking means that when a person is following someone, or like every social activity, social media activity or social media presence, when it is being followed by someone, so the commission of cyber stalking is done. And if you are sending someone offensive or these kind of messages repeatedly, unwelcoming messages, so cyber stalking, of course, it's a very serious offense, because nowadays everything is digital. Everything, we are on social media, we are on various platforms, and we want to feel protected there also, because it's not a physical world now, it's a virtual world in which we are roaming since morning till night. So we want our dignity and our our respect to be maintained cyber on social media also.
Definitely. So we got to know today so many things when it comes to outraging modesty of women. We have our guests in the studio. They told us many laws related to it and punishments as well. That's all in the third episode of Disha. We'll meet you in the next episode with a different topic. Thank you so much, and thank you both of you.
Thank you.
to join in on the broadcast today.
Thank you.
So today we got to know many things when it comes to outraging modesty of women, the laws related to it and punishment related to it as well. Our esteemed guests present in the studio threw many highlights regarding what it actually means when it comes to outraging modesty of women. That's all in this episode of Disha, but we'll see you in the next episode with another topic. Thank you so much for joining in.
देश भर के 300 से भी अधिक संविधान सभा के सदस्यों की अथक परिश्रम और जोरदार मंथन के बाद भारत के लोगों ने स्वयं को अमृत कलश के रूप में दिया एक नायाब उपहार, संविधान। इसी जीवंत और पवित्र मार्गदर्शिका के बल पर हमें दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा और महान लोकतंत्र होने का गौरव प्राप्त है। 28 राज्यों और 8 केंद्र शासित प्रदेशों सहित 140 करोड़ से भी ज्यादा लोगों के विविधता भरे इस देश को एक सूत्र में पिरोता है हमारा संविधान। संविधान है हमारे देश का महाप्राण, जो हर एक नागरिक को सामाजिक, आर्थिक, राजनैतिक न्याय के साथ साथ प्रतिष्ठा, गरिमा और अवसर की समानता भी प्रदान करता है। गर्व है हमें अपने संविधान पर, जो हमें प्रकाश और आगे बढ़ने की प्रेरणा प्रदान करता है। स्वतंत्रता की 75 साल की गौरवपूर्ण यात्रा हमने इसकी मदद से पूरी की। समय समय पर जरूरत के अनुसार इसे और बेहतर किया। वंचितों तक इसकी पहुंच को और आसान बनाने को प्रतिबद्ध हैं हम। इसलिए लोकतंत्र के 75वें वर्ष में पूरे वर्ष हम करेंगे संविधान समर्पित। सबको न्याय, हर घर न्याय, नव भारत, नव संकल्प, विधि जागृति जैसे विविध अभियानों का आयोजन संविधान में लिखी समानता, कर्तव्य और अधिकारों के आधार पर ही हम संकल्प से सिद्धि की मंजिल भी हासिल करेंगे। हमारा संविधान, हमारा सम्मान।